pretty successful weekend for the program as a whole. I mean, 4-0 for both the men's and women's team. Start with the Purdue Northwest game. Just take me through that one.
Yeah, I thought we came out and were a little sluggish the first half. Thought had some chances to break the game open and didn't take advantage of them. And then I thought the second half we played a lot better, and stretched it to, I don't know, got up to like 12 or 14 or something, and then just couldn't quite finish it, which is as good as we've been playing in some ways, it's been a little frustrating that we haven't been able to gain that separation, and really put anyone away at any point. Part of that is I think our league's really even. Despite what the standings would say, I don't think the gap between us and anyone else is very big at all. But we just got to make those last couple of plays so the game doesn't have to come down to the end every time.
Yeah. And then jump ahead to Saturday, Parkside. I'm looking at your Twitter here right now. You said by your own words, we aren't making it easy, but you're proud of the guys. Tell me, why don't you think you guys are making it easy? What do you think you could do maybe a little bit better to make these games a little bit easier for yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, so there's two ways of looking at it, but I thought we defended really well against Parkside on Saturday and got maybe a little unlucky with some of the shots they made at times, but also lucky they missed some threes. I thought we didn't defend very well against Purdue, but our offense was really good on Thursday, and our defense was, not as good. So the end result of all this is, if we would have put it all together one of the two nights, we win that game maybe by 15, maybe by 20. But if we didn't have either of them on the other night, we'd probably lose that one. So in some ways, I'm kind of happy that we're either doing one or. Similar with our players. We've had a couple players each night. We usually have two or three guys that play really well and two or three guys that don't. The game where all six play well, we're going to win that game by 15 or 20. But we got to avoid that game where all six play bad. So it's great. What I've told our guys and what I truly believe is we should be absolutely ecstatic that we are 8-0 and really proud of it, and we don't need to make a huge positive into a negative. But I think having the right humility of knowing that, for the most part, if you want to sustain as much success as we've had, we have to play better.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my next question. You can kind of answer there for me already. These press conferences with you over the course of the season have all been very similar, where you're giving the message that you're proud of the team, but there's stuff to continue that needs to work on, and you've been very humble about your team's success. Are you kind of taking a moment throughout this to step back and realize we're playing very well, we're having almost a historic type season here?
Yeah, for sure. I think the one for me is, this is no offense to anybody who coaches Division II basketball, but in my opinion, Ben McCollum, the Northwest Missouri coach, is better at his job than anyone is at any job in the world. And I find it almost embarrassing that me and him are both Division II basketball coaches, because that's how good they are and he is. And in the last poll, we were ranked 17th and they were ranked 18th, which I don't know whether any of that's true. But it definitely was one where I'm like, man, whoa, that's wild. That's crazy. So there's definitely been some of those cool moments. On the bus when our guys found out we were ranked, they kind of, you could see they were a little chipper and they were happy. We've definitely celebrated all the wins. That's been awesome. And I think that hopefully, if we're doing it right, we really are enjoying every Thursday and every Saturday. And then on the other days, enjoy your Sunday too. We take off. But on the other days, let's get back to work and let's assess how we're playing from a standpoint that's not wins and losses, but just on the process of how we're playing. And when we get into that mode, that's where I don't think not everything is roses when we look at it in that way.
Yeah. Well, looking ahead now, Saturday, Michigan Tech. Not only is it a conference game, it's also the Tech Northern rivalry. Yep. It's a big one. Tell me about your feelings heading into this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Tech game always is going to be special for a lot of people, special for a lot of people up here and over there. And I think that we get along so well with them. I really like their coaches. I like their players. I think they do a great job. I think this year's been difficult for them. They've had some injuries early. They've had some close losses where we've had some close wins. Again, I think the gap is a lot more narrow than the standings might suggest. But in saying that, our other thing is we have a lot to play for still. and we need to keep improving. This is the week where I feel like we've taken strides in the past. We only have one game this week. We can focus on not just Michigan Tech, but we get to focus a little bit more on ourselves. And the hope is that in this week, we can make a jump and get better, which hopefully propels us forward, not just on Saturday, but heading into next week and the weeks after as well. So a huge week for us, not just because it's Tech, but because we have a little more practice time and can spend a little bit more time on ourselves.
Yeah, again, you answered my question, was going to be how are you taking that extra week practice, but I'll jump up to the next one. You touched on it a minute ago, how you think the standings are closer than what they look like. When you look at the standings, Tech has not been having a great season, as you mentioned. How do you keep your guys focused, heading in this, not to let the foot off the brake, not to let the foot off the gas, and to keep that intensity heading into a game where, on paper, Northern should win this one?
Yeah, I think it's helpful that it's Tech because we not just, again, the rivalry. All of our kids grew up playing against all of their kids. We know how good they are. We played them last year in the conference finals. That whole team's back. We know everything they're capable of as individuals, which has nothing to do with the Northern or the Tech rivalry or any of that. You add in the rivalry, and our guys have a healthy respect for it. I don't think it's something that weighs too heavily on them, but I think it's something they understand the significance and the importance of. So I think that's helpful. And then, honestly, the fact that we haven't played well is really helpful. There's two ways of looking at it. One is that I'm frustrated we're not playing a little bit better. The second one is we're winning and not playing well. And at some point, if we keep playing close games, we will lose some. But at the same token, if we can keep getting better, we're going to have some not close games too, because we're not that bad that every game shouldn't be close. So something's going to give, and we're hoping that what gives is we take a jump and can play better. And if that happens, not just this weekend, but going forward, I think we'll have some success.
Yeah. And then finally here, Coach, I saw people talking about support on the road this weekend, and I was talking to Coach Casey was talking about it, how it felt almost like a home game. Tell me a little bit about what that means to your program and to the team as you guys head into a away gym and you still have that massive amount of support.
Yeah, I think the Wisconsin thing is special for both our programs. I mean, that's how and why we've been able to rebuild so quickly, is we've gotten the best players from Wisconsin, and with that, the reason that those kids are so good is because of their families and their parents and their friends and their coaches and their teammates. And so when you go back to that setting, we have the kids now that are cared about at a high level on both teams. And so if you become a Division II player that's a starting Division II player, and all throughout high school you were a selfish person, you might not have many people there. But because we have such awesome humans, they have so many people that want to come see them play, want to support them. And I think that's been a challenge for us at Parkside, is dealing with everybody wants to play their best there. I want to win. I want to win that game. When I got the job, that was the first game I wanted to win, because it was being played in front of the most people I knew in our home state. And we haven't until this one, so it was nice to get over that hump. I think it just makes it a little bit more special with all the friends and family in attendance.